What's going on, everybody? Playing with my grinder a little bit. Of course, everybody knows I got that EXL reel that's got some hard teeth in it that you can't. You can file them, but you're gonna be wrecking a lot of files. So I'm gonna have to get back on my grinder for that chain, and in doing so, I've been thinking the whole time, and I know I'm not the only one. And I know, hand sharpening or hand filing round file, a lot of people can get chain to cut faster than the factory chain. I don't believe it so much in the, and I ain't saying that it's not, but to me, a lot of that goes back to the wood you're cutting and your depth gauge, height, raker gauge, drags, whatever you want to call them. Because here's the deal, in really, really soft wood, I realized this when I bought that West Coast raker gauge, and there's nothing wrong with the raker gauge, but I realized just how low the guys out west cutting the softer woods can take their rakers down and it still be okay to cut with, not just terribly, just blah blah blah. But out here on the East Coast, or I'm not really on the East Coast, but I'm more east than anything, in hardwood country, I should say. And when I'm speaking hardwood, I'm speaking like hickory, red oak, white oak, things of that nature. Not so much walnut and poplars, fairly soft to cut, and that kind of stuff. I'm talking, I'm talking hard stuff. You can't take your rakers down that low and it still be feasible to cut. What I found in my experience, just with the 2 gauges that I've got, a factory chain comes from the factory, and I don't know all the thousandths or whatever you call them. I had them on the package, but I just know the hard and softwood setting and all that. But a factory chain comes from the factory with the depth gauges set pretty close to the soft setting on my Husqvarna gauge, and on the West Coast raker gauge it comes to the high, the very longest setting. So they're kind of grabby for our type of wood, for really hard wood from the factory. Okay, so you take that and you I always keep them on the soft setting. I used to leave it on the hard setting, and in really hard wood it was okay. It wasn't too grabby. On a weaker saw you'd have to apply a little pressure. But now that I'm running these STIHLs, and I'm not trying to bash any saw, this ain't what this video is about. I do have some videos about that, this ain't it. I can keep them on the soft setting and it'll pull fine. A little rough on bore cutting, as you've seen in a couple videos, but here's what I'm getting at. If I was cutting softer wood, like a pine, or probably could get away with it on poplar or black walnut or something like that. Ash is pretty hard, but it's not as hard as hickory. I probably could set those a little lower, like on the West Coast raker gauge. I probably could go down another setting and that chain would cut a little faster because it's a little more hungry, is what I'm getting at. And I believe that's why, and I'm not saying the guys that's doing that, making it a chain cut faster than the factory chain, cannot make it cut faster, because we all seen it. But I think a lot of that has to do with the type of wood that they're cutting. They can take those rakers down a whole lot lower and make the chain cut faster, because you're pulling more of a, if you've got a saw that'll pull it, which a lot of them's run imported saws, so you know they've got the power to pull that big of a chip. Here I could take those down further, but it would just be hell on the teeth in a way. And I can get a chain to cut a little faster than factory. And you know, I said all that because I'm getting at this. I don't know, you know, I like the way that the new Holzfforma and the Oregon EXL cuts, and even the steel chain. But if you notice the grind on both of them, either one of them, and we've looked at it before, but like, I'll show you on this one. This is a loop of Holzfforma, and the grind, there is hardly no gullet in there. It kind of looks more like a Hexa file or a square ground. That is the factory grind of the Holzfforma. That tooth has never been in wood. This is just my play chain that I play. It's a piece that I had left over. It's just a thing that I test different grinds on when I'm playing with my grinder. That's what I'm getting at. But I think it cuts well, and I believe I can take a brand new chain, is what I'm getting at, and we'll test that theory, because this weekend, one of the trees I'm going to cut is going to be pine, so it's going to be a little softer than what I normally cut. Just about every video that I've cut in, I've cut hickory, red oak, and white oak, and just a very little poplar. And some ash, you know, quite a bit of ash. But nothing what I would call really soft hardwood. But I've been playing with this grinder, and I think I've figured out how to get this chain pretty close. And this is the EXL. Where's my gold loop? I just seen it. That way you know that's what it is. I ain't trying to blow smoke up nobody. This is my actual thoughts on the deal. But here's the gold loop, you know. But there's my grind from my grinder. I've got it, I think, pretty close to the Holzfforma grind, and that's got a little piece of slag on it. Is why that looks like it's not ground all the way, like a little chunk of metal. I may have a little more of a beat than what they have, you know. But I'll just play with it. I'm gonna see how this chain cuts. That's kind of what I've got. That's really close to what they've got. So I've been playing with this grinder, and I had this thing set, which this chain here, this test chain here has got a little more of a beak than what my other reel does, and they're pretty consistent, but they're not all perfectly the same. So I played with this grinder, and I brought it down. So I'm gonna bring that. I had it earlier perfect, and all I done was stuck my stone. I don't know what kind of, you know, my maintenance stone, whatever you call this stone, and I held it at an angle like this right here, or like this rather. You know, I held it at a steep angle. I had a longer piece somewhere. It must have fell or I lost it. No, it's over here on the table. I broke this when I first got it. I dropped it in the floor and broke the daggone thing, so you know how that goes. But I held it about like that. And in doing so, when you get done, you got to come back over here and do a little bit like this, so this sharp point don't bottom out on your actual links before you get the tooth sharp. And I got that from this, which I was going to try this daggum Hexa stone that I got. And lo and behold, I broke it. It didn't exactly fit on my grinder right. I didn't look at that part, and I broke it. But if you look, I don't know if you can see it. They've just got that angled and that angled, and that's what, I guess, how they get the Hexa. Pretty well the same thing I'm doing, but except I'm just a little deeper, longer on my angle than they are. They've got it like in the center of the stone, and I've got mine offset to about a third of it. And I don't know if I can touch y'all where y'all can see it or not, but see, like right there, see that little point right there? That's my, what I'm gonna call ridge or line or whatever, and theirs is over just a little bit more. So I'm gonna start trying it like this just to see how it goes. I mean, I'm gonna say it's gonna cut really, really well because, I mean, heck, that's the way they send it from the factory. And getting a chain to cut faster or not, like I say, I think a lot of that comes from the drag heights or the depth setting and the wood you're cutting. Because in hard wood, to me, you can file saw, get it sharp, but you're only going to get it to cut so fast and be reliable. Now you can get it to, I think you probably could get one to smoke through one cut, you know, but in the end game you're going to be dull really quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying a good dependable grind or sharpening, you know. But I think that in softwood you lower them drags down, like say, because this West Coast gauge has 4 settings. Well, this one don't. Wrong one. This West Coast gauge has 4 settings, right? And if you got a saw that'll pull it and the right kind of wood, to me, this right here is definitely going to cut a lot faster than that right there, and the right type of wood. But you can get real hardwood and have it set on that setting, and you're going to end up fighting that dude more than you're going to make it better. So really it depends on what kind of wood you got, I think. And once you got the depth gauge set at this height or whatever, you can get the chain razor sharp, change the angles and do all that, but it's still only going to cut so fast, in my thoughts. But you know, say I have it sitting here in hardwood, which that's the soft setting on the Husqvarna gauge. The longest one on the West Coast Raker gauge is like the soft setting on the Husky gauge. That's like the factory chain setting. I'm pretty certain, and I think I've made a video of that already. That teeth ain't. I'll do it on this one because that tooth has been sharpened on. But yeah, I'm right there. Okay, so there's none sticking above that. But if I bring that dude way down here like that and take that raker down to there, it's definitely going to cut faster in soft wood because, you know, you're pulling a bigger tooth or a bigger chip faster. You know, the tooth is getting there down there deeper. But that's in the right kind of wood. Like I say, I'm not trying to dispute anybody. I'm trying to get a theory to it, you know. Because yes, I tested that. You know, I hand sharpened one and ran it against the factory chain, and I might have been a smidgen faster, but just not seconds faster. And you know, well, like when I cut that ash, I was slinging chips 4 inches long, so it was bringing a good chip out. I think it just depends on what kind of wood you're cutting. And like I say, I'm gonna test that theory when I get a hunk of that pine down and see how that fares out. But anyway, I want to test this. Let's try this and see how it does. Well, I need to make sure I'm gonna be hitting right. And I've got my safety glasses on and all that kind of stuff. I might need to go up just a smidgen just to make sure I get in the tooth good. I want to try that and see. I want to make sure y'all can see. I think I've already been in a little more or something. Yeah. I want to make sure we can see how good it does or how bad it does at that angle and see what kind of profile we get. So I'm pretty happy with that EXL chain, but I'd like to get it more I don't know if I'm sharpening the top plate or not. Need to bump up just a little more. That got it all, but with that, I don't know. Check it out. I may have went too steep. But I don't want to lose my top plate angle, is what I'm getting at. I don't want it to be straight, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if that would cut or not. I feel like I didn't get all that top plate, only got half of it. So I need to change something. Well, I might have to go at a steeper angle, but I don't know how that's gonna affect my grind. And I may have to go back to the angle that I was at, just not so steep. And like I say, I'm just playing around. What was that, 55? Let's go to 50. On the head tilt, that is. Ooh. Knocking a little off the drag there. I may have to, I know what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to take a little more off the back side of this so I don't bottom out on the tooth yet. It may end up turning out to be about like the Hexa. Let's try that, I don't know. I need to go back to 55. It's too steep. I don't like that. I know I'm probably in y'all's way. Y'all seeing I'm all up in your business. all up in your business, boys. All right, that may get me there. But I think I'm still gonna have a little beat there. A little more so than. Oh. Which tooth was that? This one right here, I can tell it. Because there's the factory one. There's mine. So I'm starting to get the angle back the other way, which I'm down in the gullet. Let's see where I'm at on the tooth. If I got all the teeth. I think I got all the teeth, but barely. I think I like the, I don't know, that may be okay. The angle may be a little too steep. That's cruddy scrap, you can't see that one. Let me see this one though, somewhat. Hurricane. Everything's backwards. So that's factory. Let's go to mine. Well, that's mine, barely catching that top tooth now. We're barely getting that angle on there. I don't know, I might be about at the same angle. It's hard to tell now that my glove got all that junk on it. I think it could be a little sharper. I don't know, y'all tell me. That angle looks a little better to me. A little more, heck, I don't know that. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna go back with the other one like I had it to begin with. And it was the same deal. I had it the same before, but it just wasn't as steep. I'm gonna get a new tooth. And pretty much the way I had it before, I could line it up right here. Everything hit well. I just need to flatten that out just a little bit. Try to pull y'all back where y'all can kind of see me doing that in case anybody cares. Nobody may not care, but I think it's kind of cool because I wondered how they got that angle on there. I thought they was using some kind of me some kind of a square grinder or something, or not a square grinder, but I don't know if we could get people like me, us could get a hold of it. I'm pretty daggone close right there. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I could do a little more. I'm gonna do just a little. Like I say, you gotta do a little right here, so you don't bottom out. I'm gonna have a daggum stone going playing around with this crap. But to me it's fun and it's worth it, so. I could lay back just a little more. I'm gonna call that perfect. All right. That thing lays in there like that. Possible, which I, you know, as long as I'm catching all the tooth, then I may not go down all the way. So it may be even better, you know, because I don't want to, you don't want to be down here on your length. So let's try one and see real quick. And that's how I'm going to grind all my chain from here on out, if it does as good as, so I need to come up just a bit. That'll get it all. Let's see how it does. I'll stand back behind this for a record. May have to there we go. I think I should have all the tooth right there. If I don't, I know what I need to do. I need to come back. I set it on 27 degrees for this. I may change it to back to 30. See if that don't help it a little better. Get in there. Oh yeah, let's see what that's like. We'll inspect this one now. Let's see. Honestly, to me, it don't look no different than the factory one. There's the one I did, because you can see where it's, I put the focus where it's ground right there. That's what it looks like. That's a factory one. It may be a little canted back more on the factory one, where mine's a little straighter. But I want to look at the tooth now. That tooth angle ain't bad. I'll put a focus. I pretty well got all the tooth, I reckon. I could go, it could be a little better. Here's the EXL chain. I'll find it real quick. Whatever I done with it, I'll show y'all. Lay it right here. Here's what my EXL chain turned out looking like. It sloped back just like that, pretty much. And there's the angle that I'm getting. Let me flip it around with this one. Wait a minute, this one, yep. I like that better. So I'm gonna get that stone back like that somehow or another. And like I say, I'll just have to play with it. But anyway, if you're wondering how to get your sharpener to sharpen like the factory does, that's pretty well close to how you do it like I had it before. And I pretty well had it set the same way that I got it now, just the angles may be, just, you had to play with the angles just a bit more, you know. I've got that chain all bound up, looped up, whatever, however you want to say it. I've got knots in it everywhere now. It's a daggone disaster. Alright, I got it out. But anyway, I'm going to cut y'all loose and I'm going to play with this a bit more. I appreciate everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. And have a good one. Adios.